Well, it's time to talk about the album of the year. As you already know, it is Catch Me If You Can by Makoto Furukawa. But also we are going to use this episode to also cover the best artist of the year, in my opinion, who is, of course, Makoto Furukawa. So let's kick off this episode of Seiyuu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyuu Lounge, I'm your host Vanessa, and in this episode let's talk about the album of the year for me in 2025, which is of course Catch Me If You Can by Makoto Furukawa, as well as tie it all up perfectly by saying that Makoto Furukawa is my artist of the year. So this is a double whammy for me because we leave the best for last. This is the last episode of 2025, so there's a lot of excitement here. I've already said that I love Makoto Furukawa. You may already know if you follow the podcast regularly, and if you watch the monthly review episodes, you not only know what I think, but also know how I react to Makoto Furukawa, and usually how I react to his music. There's one thing that I love about Makoto Furukawa's music as a whole, which is the fact that jazz music is at its core. Even if now he's approaching this stage in his career as a second chapter in his career, which he actually announced when he started with the seasonal singles last year, and now we are seeing the fruits of that hard work that he has put since the start, and also seeing that he's transitioning to something that is more of a hybrid of rock and jazz, more so than only jazz. I'm all in for this because I feel that Makoto Furukawa has an amazing voice that suits rock music a lot, but also surprisingly, but not surprisingly at the same time, it is perfect for jazz music. I love that he has that deep, powerful voice. I love that he's really theatrical in the way that he performs. I know that not many people will find these appealing, but I like when a singer is a bit theatrical and dramatic when they are performing, and they know how to imbue songs with those emotions that will make you feel something, anything. Makoto Furukawa actually delivers a lot in the emotional department. I feel that he is one of the singers among male seiyuu that is the strongest in that regard. And when it comes to Catch Me If You Can, this album managed to be flawless. And there are very few albums that I can say that all the songs are perfect, 5 out of 5 for me. This album is actually a perfect 5. Perfect. There is no song in this CD that I skip. There is no song in this CD that I feel is underwhelming. There is no song in this CD in which I feel it didn't belong there, which is a good sign when it comes to how the music was created around first his voice, then, of course, the vibe that he has in his career and what he wants to approach next. One thing that I love a whole lot about Makoto Furukawa's music is the mature vibe throughout all the songs that he has. This is super consistent. Whether he's performing rock, Latin jazz, or just bebop or swing, which are all variants of jazz music, he has always that mature vibe. And it's not mature in a racy way, although it can venture towards a racier vibe, which will get really dangerous, for example in Usotogekko. Although Usotogekko is not a racy song per se, but what is underlying that song is sort of racy. But yeah, you have that maturity in a way that is not cheesy, it's not something that will give you second-hand embarrassment, it is just super charming, and that's something I feel lacks a lot in nowadays among male seiyuu, is a natural charm. I feel that, for example, Daisuke Ono still has that in himself, although sometimes his music tends to veer towards a cheesy side, and mind you, I love Daisuke Ono and I love his music, but sometimes his music is a bit cheesy. When it comes to Makoto Furukawa, he approaches his music although almost in the same way, and he's super mature, but his delivery is not cheesy at all, and he is super charming just like Daisuke Ono. That's something that I like to hear and see an artist become, and it is something that sets him apart from all the other artists. Same time, another thing that makes him stand out from all other artists is the fact that he has a unique singing voice. Of course, his tone is rather unique. He's a baritone, although right now we can tackle high notes and belt, add falsetto, and everything in between. He is becoming a threat in a positive way. because he can do a little bit of everything. Although he still says that he feels not as confident as he should be when he's performing things that are not natural to him, I still feel that when you listen to his performances, you notice that he puts so much work into that, and what he delivers is actually something pretty close to what a tenor could do, and he's not a tenor, he's a baritone, mind you, he's a baritone. He doesn't have that range, or up until now, he didn't have that range. He has been practicing, he has been doing the work, and you can tell by especially if you listen to his CDs chronologically, you notice how much he has grown. He has basically set himself a goal to sound really amazing and do a little bit of everything and deliver performances that are not only engaging but really powerful. And he does that. Catch Me If You Can is absolutely flawless from start to finish. We have an amazing start with Kuchizuki wa San Peace. That's one of the best opening songs in an album ever. And mind you, and I'm not even talking about just Seiyuu artists, I'm talking about all artists that I listen to. This song is quite possibly one of the best openings to a CD ever. Super fun, super energetic. That's a song that will get you, that you basically will simultaneously make you want to relax, but also hit the dance floor and dance with abandon for the full night and just not even care about anything else. It's one of those songs that has a unique vibe. It's playful, it's cheeky, it's super fun to listen to. It's one of those songs that says, and that illustrates pretty well how amazing jazz music is. It's super fun, especially blended with pop music or with funk or with rock music. Jazz music is super versatile, and when you have a singer that is so good like Makoto Furukawa, you only have something amazing as a result. Catch Me If You Can. A super charming song, performance is super fun, and it is one of those songs, once again, that illustrates that jazz music is incredibly fun. And as you can basically notice, from Kuchizuki wa San Peace to Catch Me If You Can, the vibes are completely different, although underneath it all, it's super mature, super charming, so he is consistent to that point in which you barely notice the transitions between subgenres and slight nuances in terms of the music or the instruments that he's bringing into the mix. The album flows as one. I barely noticed the differences, even with rock songs in the way. We have Hightail It, and it's super fun as well. This was a song that was featured in anime, so it was to be expected that it would be super fun. But still, I usually don't like music that is featured in anime because it is dependent on those first 90 seconds that are featured in the opening credits to the anime series itself, and it should have a specific formula that they cannot change. And it should be super hyped up, and the chorus should kick in very easily and super early, which would be basically a pop style of song construction or composition. I'm usually not a big fan of that, but this song, Hightail It, actually worked pretty well. That's unbelievably good, really, unbelievably good. This is, of course, the song that leads the way for this album. Now, we have Usotogeko, and oh boy, I was reviewing this album and I had to pause the song because I was not in the right mind place when that song kicked in. I was not expecting R&B music coming from Makoto Furukawa, to be quite honest with you, because although he has done that before for 2D music projects, it didn't feel like the type of music that he would perform as a solo artist, even if it is the type of music that perfectly suits his voice. As someone that has a really deep voice, he has a sort of a mature, charming vibe, and he has quite possibly one of the sexiest voices among male seiyuu. It is perfect for R&B music because R&B music is all about love and, well, intimacy and everything else. It would be perfect. And look at my surprise when Usotogeko started playing and I could not even react normally to the song. I was gushing. I didn't get to write much in my first listen because I was with my jaw dropped in awe. It's ridiculous what he pulled off there. Super gentle voice, almost like lullabying you, although the song has underneath it all a seductive undertone. it's incredibly romantic. I feel that this is one of those songs that makes me want more of this style from Makoto Furukawa, and I wouldn't mind him actually saying, for this EP, let's try just R&B songs, because I know that it would be super good. Although I know that some people would be alienated in there because not many people like R&B music, but still, if you are a pop fan, R&B music would be your thing, because it's at its core, it's still pop music. But yeah, I feel that it suited him, and at the same time highlighted how much he has grown as an artist, because the way he's performing that song, he couldn't perform that like that a couple of years ago, I believe. The control that he has right now over his vocals, you will notice that he no longer uses or deploys his vibrato all the time. He actually controls it in a way that he only uses it if it makes sense to use it, not all the time. Although I do feel that that's a struggle for himself, because his voice usually has that little tremolo all the time. But in this case, he actually has an amazing control over that vibrato, and you can tell in this specific song how he deploys it strategically to deal the biggest damage to you, which is a good damage, not a bad one. So you have that as well. And for the last song, we have Lullaby in the White Night, which is basically the translation that Lantis is giving for this song. And this one is a song that I feel sort of nods, and this is something that I like a whole lot, is the fact that Makoto Furukawa likes rock music a whole lot, and he has been trying to bring more rock music to his repertoire, although Lantis doesn't allow him to do that full time. At least he does that from time to time, which is awesome. And he has been showing glimpses of emo rock. He likes to do that from what I can gather, and when he performs something like this song, it almost gave me Soma Saito vibes from the Palette era. And this is a good sign for me, because I'm a fan of both. I don't know about you, but I'm a fan of both. So to see Makoto Furukawa actually tackling emo rock and doing so powerfully, that makes me wish more artists would do this, not only Soma Saito and now Makoto Furukawa. I would love for more artists to venture towards this sound. Actually, recently Shoya Chiba also did that. It's good to see emo rock getting a representation in, or let's say among the music that male seiyuu artists are releasing, and also it kind of suits Makoto Furukawa's voice. Once again, he carries so much emotion in his performances that emo rock, which is overflowing with emotion, is the perfect music genre for him to showcase that. Also, his voice suits rock so well. The guitars are shredding, the bass is really punchy, the drums are so intense, and this song is a ton of fun, although it is super deep in terms of the emotions, and it may not be the most cheerful song that you will listen to, but I feel it is a perfect showcase of how versatile Makoto Furukawa is, how fun his music can be when it comes to variety, but variety that actually suits his voice, not variety just for the variety's sake, like most artists do. This is the kind of music, or this is the kind of song that solidifies the fact that Makoto Furukawa is a powerhouse on the vocal end. Not only has been impressing you throughout this EP with stellar jazz performances that are full of jauntiness and excitement and a dash or two of sexiness and, let's say, maturity, but also he can bring those heart-wrenching vibes and super emotional emo rock style of performances. He can do it all, basically. And for me, this is the perfect showcase of how amazing Makoto Furukawa is. When you look at this EP and you go through it, basically you will not even notice that the songs went by the time that the EP wraps up. That's a problem with me, at least every time I listen to this EP. I press play and then the EP is already over and I didn't even notice that 30 minutes actually went by in a flash. You barely notice the transitions between the songs. It is super well mixed, and also it is really well directed, which is something that I love a whole lot, and not only that, but also mastered. As a whole, I feel that this is one of those albums that really, in this case EPs, that really hit the mark. For me, is up there with Music of the Entertainment by Toshiki Toyonaga, Soma Saito, My Beautiful Valentine, and Yin Yang when it comes to the albums that are probably or really close to being flawless and that I would recommend anyone, anytime to listen to. So this was not only, of course, my take on Catch Me If You Can by Makoto Furukawa, but also a good illustration of how he is my artist of the year. Because this time around, Makoto Furukawa actually went through with his promise of showcasing growth in his performances. While I didn't enjoy much the seasonal conceptual singles, I did love this album, or let's say this EP, a lot. And it made a massive impact to the point that every single CD that I listened since then never could come even close to the quality that we have here. And this is amazing, impressive even. So I feel that this was Makoto Furukawa's year by far. He impressed as a solo artist, and this is massive growth in the form of an EP. It's impossible to sound better than this, but also I want Makoto Furukawa to try to top these because I know that he can. I know that he can because he's improving a lot and he keeps on improving a lot. And I know that he still has a ton of quality music in him. And even if he tries to repeat what he did here and the next album, let's imagine, sounds the same as this one, it will still be an amazing album and really hard to top by any other artist, at least in my opinion. But once again, I'm a big fan of his voice, and his voice can be a bit disruptive for some people. Not many people like how deep he sounds, or his vibrato, or how dramatic he is. While I love all of that, there are people that don't enjoy that, and for you, for example, he may not be your artist of the year. For me, I feel that when you look at the work that he's put into his music and into his performances and how much he grew, he is the artist of the year. And Catch Me If You Can is a flawless EP. If you haven't listened to it, I fully recommend you to do that. It's available on streaming platforms for free, and a review will be on the website by the end of this year, so do look forward to that, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that review. And this was all for me talking about Makoto Furukawa's Catch Me If You Can, and also emphasizing that Makoto Furukawa is my artist of the year 2025. You will, of course, have your own pick, and there will be a pick from all the people voting in the THTFHQ awards, which I'm kind of curious to see who you picked for this year as your artist of the year. Usually you guys are in tune with me, sometimes you aren't, so I'm kind of curious to see what you pick. And also I would love to see or read in the comments who you think is your artist of the year, or who you consider to be your artist of the year, especially seeing what they did this year as solo artists only. We are talking about only their work as solo artists. And what makes you so excited about their music. That would be awesome to know and to read in the comments, so feel free to leave those in the comments below. And of course, thank you so much for watching this episode. This is the last one in 2025. There are going to be many more episodes in 2026. Once again, the episodes are weekly, unless I have to change anything, but the episodes are weekly, and we will continue to focus here on anything male Seiyuu music and 2D groups. I will try to be more active reviewing music by male Seiyuu, so finally things are getting steadier on my end, so I can return to reviewing music, and I have a massive backlog since 2023, so bear with me until I get to the music that we have releasing at the moment. Quite excited about what we have next year. We have Kentito dropping music earlier this year, which is going to be quite exciting for me. Usually when he releases music, it's usually a good year. So I'm kind of excited about that. I know for sure that Makoto Furukawa is going to release something else. He has been on a roll, so it's going to be a good year for him. There's a probability of Shotawe releasing an album, so that's that as well. Yumuchi as well. Probably Soma Saito releasing another EP, because Soma Saito releases 2 EPs in a row and then a full-length album. So we had an EP this year, we had an album last year, so we are going to get an EP, if it follows the schedule, an EP this year as well, later in the year. So there are a couple of things to look forward to this year and to see who will take the crown next. So yeah, this was all from me, and I hope you guys are enjoying the episode so far. Thank you so much for listening and being around, really connecting to this podcast every single week if you are, or if you just catch these on and off chance. Also, thank you so much for listening and taking your time to listen to this podcast. And also, since this is the last one in 2025, I wish you a happy new year, and I hope that you guys are excited about what is to come from male Seiyuu artists and to the groups as well. And once again, Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys soon.